Guys, I've got some genuine good news for once. And honestly, after the season we've been through with injuries, I'll take every bit of positive vibes I can get. But before going further, do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me create quality content for you. So look, we're sitting at 7-3 heading into Jacksonville, and Wednesday's practice report just completely changed the vibe around this team. I'm talking about real, tangible good news that has me feeling way more optimistic about where we're headed. The Chargers just got some massive injury updates. And when I say massive, I mean the kind of news that makes you actually believe we can make a real run here. Let's start with the guys who are actually back on the field practicing. Oronde Gadsden, Tarheeb Still, and Bobby Hart all practiced on Wednesday. All three of them. Now, if you watched that Steelers game, you know how scary it looked when these guys went down. Gadsden took a hard hit and limped off, and honestly, my heart sank because this kid has been absolutely balling out. He's a rookie who's already fourth on the team in receiving yards with 466 yards, and that's in basically 8.5 games since he was a healthy scratch the first 2 weeks. The connection between him and Herbert has been something special, man. You can see it developing into something that could last for years. So when they said he had a bone bruise and he'd be day-to-day, I was relieved. But seeing him back at practice this quickly, that's huge. That's the kind of news that tells you this offense can keep rolling. Then you've got Bobby Hart, who's been holding down that right tackle spot after we lost both Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt for the season. This guy's a veteran, and he's been doing exactly what we needed him to do, protecting Herbert from that right side. When he went down against the Steelers, I was thinking, here we go again, another lineman down. But nope, he's back at practice too. That's the kind of toughness and availability we desperately need right now. And Tarheeb Still, man, this kid has been electric. He had an incredible rookie season, then he hurt his ankle a few games back and missed 2 straight. But he avoided the IR, and now he's practicing and looking like he'll be ready for Jacksonville. Getting him back in that secondary is going to be massive for our defense. The kid can play, and we need him out there. But here's the thing that really got me hyped this week. Justin Herbert is practicing. Now, let me take you back to that moment in the Steelers game when Herbert fell right into Herbert's legs with one of those hip drop tackles that makes every fan's stomach drop. I swear for a few seconds, the entire stadium went silent. Herbert stayed bound, and I'm sitting there thinking the absolute worst. Like, this is it, season over. Everything we worked for just gone. But then he gets up, doesn't miss a single snap, walks off with his ankles taped, and keeps playing. That's my quarterback, man. That's the kind of warrior mentality that defines this team. So Monday rolls around and Harbaugh does his typical Harbaugh thing at the press conference. Someone asks about Herbert, and he just drops this line, real casual. Says Herbert continues to be a monster. Doesn't elaborate, doesn't give details, just that. And honestly, sometimes the way Harbaugh talks tells you more than the actual words. But Wednesday confirmed what we all hope for. Herbert is at practice. The guy who carries our entire offensive identity takes a scary shot to his legs, and he's back at practice 3 days later. That's not just about physical toughness. That's about leadership. That's the silent message to the entire locker room that we're not backing down from anything. And you know what makes all this even better? The timing. After Jacksonville, we hit week 12 bye. So any of these guys who are at 80–85% can play this week, get through it, and then have extra time to recover and come back even stronger. It's like the schedule is actually working in our favor for once. We can use these guys, manage their snaps, and not worry about pushing them too hard because that bye week is right there waiting.
Now, I've got to talk about something that absolutely blew my mind this week, something nobody expected to see. In the middle of all this chaos with the offensive line, all the injuries, all the weekly scrambling to figure out who's playing where, we got this victory video after the Steelers game. Just a casual locker room clip, nothing fancy. And there he was, Rashawn Slater, just walking down the hallway like it was any other day, strolling behind Johnston and Pipkins, completely casual, no limp, no hesitation, just walking. Dude, I had to pause that video like 10 times to make sure I was seeing it right. This is a guy who tore his patella tendon back in training camp. That's one of the most devastating injuries you can have. We hadn't seen him in any video, any photo, or any public appearance since August. Complete silence. Most of us had stopped even looking for updates because we knew he was done for the year. And then boom, there he is, just casually walking through the facility like nothing happened. The internet absolutely exploded. People were analyzing every frame, looking at his gait, checking if he was favoring one leg, trying to see if his movement looked natural. And you know what? He looked good, really good. His posture was relaxed, his steps were firm, nothing about it screamed pain or discomfort. After an injury that brutal, seeing Slater walking like that is honestly almost miraculous. I know he's not coming back this year. We all know that. But just seeing him back in the team environment around the guys in the facility, that changes everything on an emotional level. Now, I've got to be real with you about the not-so-great news, because it's not all sunshine and roses. The running back situation, specifically with Hampton, is still a mess. The dude's been out since week 5 with an ankle sprain, 5 full games now, and the offense has had to completely reinvent itself without him. His physical presence on those initial contacts, the way he runs, it changes everything about how our offense operates. So when we hit the week where he's eligible to come back, everyone's asking the same question. Is this the week? But honestly, all the signs are pointing to no. The team didn't open his return window on Wednesday, which basically kills any chance of him playing against Jacksonville. Then you've got Harbaugh not giving any firm updates, no indication of real progress. The expectation was if there was any real shot, they would have made the designation Wednesday. They didn't, and that tells you everything. According to reports, Harbaugh thinks the most likely scenario is holding Hampton until after Week 12 bye, so we're looking at Week 13 at the earliest.
Here's the thing, though. There are some positive signs in all this. Hampton was seen working on the side of the field, doing light movements, stuff he hasn't done since the day he got hurt. That's a major milestone because it means he's testing weight-bearing, doing light acceleration, working on change of direction in a controlled environment. And he took off the walking boot. That might sound small, but medical staff only clears that when the ankle is responding the right way. It doesn't guarantee he's coming back immediately, but it shows the progress is real. So when you look at the whole picture, Week 11 is off the table, Week 12 is the bye, so Week 13 becomes the target. And honestly, that makes total sense. A running back who depends on explosive power and foundational strength needs to come back right, not rushed. For an offense that's been struggling with consistency, especially on third down, getting Hampton back at full strength is worth way more than forcing him out there at 70% and risking the rest of the season. And speaking to the offensive line, there's been some serious talk about bringing in Shaq Mason to reinforce the trenches. This isn't just random speculation either. This name is coming up at exactly the right time, when the urgency on the line is at its peak. We've been reinventing combinations every single week, dealing with injuries, shuffling guys around, and you can feel that something's missing. Someone who can stabilize that interior with real authority. Mason's 32, he's got experience for days, and he brings exactly that kind of presence. The impact would be immediate. This is a plug-and-play guy. He doesn't need a long adaptation period, doesn't need some exotic scheme, doesn't require a total transformation. He knows how to play physical offense, knows how to run power, knows all the concepts that fit what we're trying to do. When you put someone like that on the interior of the line, you change everything. Blitz reads improve, protection angles get better, and Herbert gets what he's been desperately needing, a clean pocket up the middle. That changes the entire operation of the offense. The run game flows better, play action becomes more credible, and even the heavier calls work with more confidence. I'll tell you straight up, this move makes total sense to me. We're at the point in the season where there's no magic solution, but there are pragmatic ones, and Mason is exactly that. He's not a gamble, he's not some unknown quantity. He's proven, he's experienced, and his mentality aligns perfectly with what Harbaugh's been building. Sure, there's the cost-benefit discussion with any veteran, but when the need is this obvious, it's worth it. Drop your opinion in the comments. Do you think Mason would be the right fit? Would he solve our interior line problems? Look, after everything we've been through this season, sitting at 7-3 feels pretty damn good. We've got key players coming back, we've got Herbert playing like a warrior, we've got hope with Slater's recovery progressing, and we've got real possibilities to strengthen the line. The Jaguars are 5-4 after blowing a huge lead to Houston, so this is a winnable game. And with that bye week coming right after, we can get through this, regroup, and come back even stronger for the final stretch.